would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Ingo, which is joining us from Mexico. So Ingo, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
The 5 steps to make the first million. I think whenever you build a business, I think the most important step is the first one is you should have a strong vision, right? Because this is something that guides you, and make sure that the vision is in a way that it's not too much product focus, right? Make the vision really big, but it should really align with your values. So you need to have a really good alignment between your values, so what you believe in, right? And the vision where you basically want to go. And I thought many people that are, they see a market opportunity and they just jump on a market opportunity because they see some money there, right? But this is usually not sustainable, because usually you will not be able to maintain interest, and this is what ultimately leads to burnout, right, and to stress. But if you build your business on a strong vision and a strong why, then you're really on a good way, and this helps you also to get through the difficult stages of building a business, right? It's not always going easy, especially in the beginning, but this brings me actually already to my second step is stay consistent, right? Especially in the beginning, stay consistent, go through the difficult phases and just trust in it, because you have your vision and you have something to build on, and you have all your knowledge. So go from there and be sure after every failure or every difficult situation is always an opportunity to learn. And then the next step I have, or the next important point, is don't do everything alone. So build a network, grow with people together, and get actually advice from people that are a few steps ahead of you, right? One problem I was facing I was, maybe a little introduction to myself. I was for many years working in a corporate job. I made my career there, and I also made good money there. But it's very different if you have your own business, because then you just need to meet different people, because people that are working in a job, usually they cannot help you in building your own business, right? They have other qualities, right? And I'm not saying either is better or worse. It's just a very different playing field. So go out and build a network of other entrepreneurs, of other business owners. And ideally that are not only, but ideally also with some that are a few steps ahead of you, that you can really learn from them how to get there, right? And the next step is, I think what helped me also a lot, especially in building my own mindset. I mean, I think I was always very good in achieving my goals and building my own roadmaps. But what helped me really jump to the next level is getting support by a mentor or by a business coach that really helps you and goes into your individual situation, into your individual background, because you can read all the books out there, right? Information is available abundantly, but I mean, every person is different, every situation is different. So this one-on-one coaching situations is something that helped me tremendously to lift myself to a new level. And the last thing I would say is also don't build just a support network, also build systems, right? And build the systems to outsource your tasks, and you have to work not in your business, you have to work on your business, right? You're responsible for the strategy as a business owner, you're responsible for getting the customers, at least in the beginning, right? But the more you grow, the more you need to outsource. And one thing I like to do, I mean, it's also difficult for me, is to give away tasks, right? Because this is sometimes you think, okay, it's faster if I do it myself, or it's. But I think this is not leading you anywhere, because at one point you just cannot handle all the tasks anymore. So the earlier you start outsourcing all these tasks, the faster you will grow in the end.
Yeah, Ingo, This is I loved your 5 steps, and I would like to ask you, um, why you decided to leave your corporate job and start your own business?
Yeah, I
It's
think
something you always wanted.
that's bringing back to the first step. And I always had my definition of success, and I wanted to climb the corporate ladder. I wanted to be successful. Um, but I think the my definition of success that I had in the past was somehow diluted or biased strongly, and I think that's happened to many people. We think we know what is success. We think we know our values, but it's you have all this noise that you hear all day on social media and from your friends and from your family that tell you how a successful life looks like. And according to that definition, I probably had a successful life, but it didn't really fulfill me. So I went back to this step one and thought, actually, what do I want to do in my life? What is my contribution, right? What is my heritage that I want to give to the world? And yeah, I looked for something that was more fulfilling to me. And I worked for more than 15 years in a director position, or in the end, in the director position in the semiconductor industry. And then at one point, it was about 4 years ago, I just said, okay, I don't want this anymore. It was during the pandemic when the situation got
Interesting.
even worse.
We
And
are
before I
getting.
was traveling a lot internationally, but then I was just sitting in front of this Zoom meetings all day long. And I had this, you can call it an identity crisis or something like that. And my family was not happy anymore. My wife was not happy anymore. And we decided to sell everything. We sold our house, we sold our cars, and basically everything we had. And we took our kids and our dogs, and we took a flight to Mexico. And since then we are here. And since then I've really, before I was maybe financially free, there was no money issues, right? But since then I feel really free, also mentally free, because I can work now on the things I really love to do.
That's fantastic. I love the story, Ego, and let's dig a little bit more in that, because there are a lot of people, great talented people like you in the corporate, and they are suffering right now, right? And they probably even my parents are teachers, right? So all
Mhm.
they told me all my life is you need to go to university, study a lot, and then find a good job and find a job in a corporate and climb this ladder of the corporate to the top. This is how you're gonna be successful.
Mhm.
That was the
And
definition
work hard.
of success. Yeah, and work hard for it. And so, and I got the degree of chemical engineering, and I never been a chemical engineer. I never exercised this profession in my whole life. Um, so I think that sometimes in life we follow these stereotypes. Like, okay, this is what everybody's doing. This is what everybody's telling us to do. Okay, let's go to this corporate, yeah. And the corporate have something amazing. They keep you. They make you very comfortable. Yeah, they try to pay you a lot of good money. Yeah, so you get comfortable. You buy this house. You buy everything you need. Yeah, but then
Mhm.
probably stress start to come when you start to get um, the positions, and somehow you get diluted in this type of life, and people there think that this is the only option, and then there come the mental health issue. Also can come something even worse as well, that that they are, when they don't need you anymore, they will get rid of you. Yeah. And now they're gonna catch you unprepared. Yeah. Imagine that
Mhm.
before COVID, yeah, 2 years, let's say COVID was okay. Let's say that in 2016 they tell you, okay, Ingo, we don't need you anymore. And then now, wow, you have your corporate job, you have everything, you have the key, you have the dog, you have the house in Germany, you have to, and now you have to start all over again, yeah, and and it was because they don't need it, catch you like by surprise. Whether incidents sometimes in life, something happened and we realize what we really want, what actually give us fulfillment, yeah, because The corporate job, same like my first business, for example, was in property. I did it for the money. I
Mhm.
didn't do the business because I was passionate about. I like a few things, but I was not passionate about that 100%. Yeah, and I did literally for the money. So eventually, we escalated this business during the time. Regardless, we managed to sell over 5 million. Um, so let's talk about this, about finding your purpose in life, finding, um, because when you going to work, most of the time we spend our life in at work or working. But imagine if you're not going to a place that you're not happy anymore. You don't like the people, you don't like the place, you don't like how the situation has changed, and now you have to take that decision, especially you have kids. It's a very, very tough decision to take. Yeah, to quit
Mhm.
your corporate job, to move from another country. um so where do you find the courage to do that?
Yeah, I think there are a few points to that, right? So, first of all, what you said in the beginning, that many people are suffering. I think that's not entirely correct. I think most people that are living in these corporate jobs today,
Yeah,
they're
happy.
kind, I call it the curse of a good life, right? They have a life that's not really terrible, but it's also not really great, right? So it's somewhere in between. It's so they go to work, maybe they don't like their job, they're working there for 8, 9 hours, whatever, and they're coming home and they're trying to distract themselves with whatever, with Netflix or with alcohol or with going out or going to vacation 2 times a year or whatever it is. So I think they live in a situation where it's not really painful. So what needs to happen to make this change is that your pain is becoming big enough that actually the pain of staying where you are is bigger than the pain of making this change, because our human brain is also kind of lazy and it likes the comfort, right? Our brain doesn't like change by
Hmm.
definition, right? It's just like that. So when we want to make a change, this is like an active decision. And this decision needs, yeah, I mean, that there need to be a reason for this decision, right? And the problem is that if you make such a radical change, or if you want to change your life, it's usually a long-term decision. And especially today in times where you have social media, where you get all the time this have this short forms of satisfaction with this dopamine and all this yeah, like this quick quick things that give you a quick pleasure but are not lasting. It's you need to really get it into your mind, the long-term benefit of making a change versus the short-term definition. Because look, if you're living your life and you always just make the next step, right? It's not so much risk in that, right? You did it for the last 10 or 20 years. So, and you just make another day, another step, another step. And you continue, rather than if you want to make a fundamental change to that, it's it seems to be very risky. But yeah, actually, I think that moving into the unknown is also not necessarily more risky, because
It's
you see
exciting.
also staying where you are is also
It's
a
also a big
decision. It's just
risk,
a
correct?
decision not to make a decision.
100%.
Yeah, and you mentioned it before. It's also the risk. I mean, maybe tomorrow you lose your job, or even worse than that, tomorrow you lose your health and you lived all your life without making the best out of it. So it will be
And you lose
very
your head
hard because
because
you didn't.
the yeah, exactly, Ingo, because
Yeah.
when you are in the job that you're not satisfied or you don't feel fulfilled, yeah, this negative emotion and mental health issues can become can end up in physical pain. People can end up with cancer,
Mm.
with mental health issue, with the stress. So um yeah, there are few points of the question. There are the people that they're not that comfortable each, yeah, and
Mhm.
they don't want, and they're not gonna search for a better life. Exactly. Only one thing that what you shared, just share, is really powerful, because you said that, or maybe they switch off going and taking a holiday when it's allocated. Yeah. So to tell you a story, the other day, I was in London, and one friend of mine came and tell me, I'm going to India. And I said, wow, you're going to India? Yeah, I'm going to India to see my family. And he said, and I told him, okay, for how long you going for? And the guy told me, I'm going for a week. And I'm like, man, how come you're gonna do such a long trip for a week? You crazy. You should go there a month minimum. Why you going just a week? It costs the flight costs a lot of money. And he told me, Harry, the reason is because I only have 1 week left of holiday. And this brought me back that because I have my own I've been in business for 17 years. I literally forgot that that when that people have holidays like that, that when your holiday finish, it's finished, and you have to come back to work. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's a kind of comfortable life-ish, but really it sucks. It sucks that you have limited time for a holiday. It sucks that maybe, I don't know, you want to go to with your kids to a place and you cannot go because you have to go and work. And I think that the other thing, because this is what happened, this is my story, the reason that I became an entrepreneur, um, it was because when I was an employee, my dad got cancer and I didn't have enough money to go and see him, right? So my next question to you, Ingo, is what can we do? So, because when life, usually all the 500 multimillionaires that we have interviewed in this very same podcast, yeah, some of them, they have a drastic change and they find the really course of their life when they take a hit, when they lose millions, when COVID came, when my case, that got cancer, you have money. So, uh, why do you think that we have to do in order to help people so they can find the path that they really want to go to live their life, and they don't need to wait until something dramatic happen for them to realize that the thing is not working anymore. Why do you think that can we do? Because it's sad. It's sad that the people out there, yeah, especially uh, they can have a better life. They are very smart. They can create their own job and have their own destiny, yeah, and still they are living in an unfulfilled life. So what do you think that we can do so people take the change and they discover the full potential and they embrace this with power? Not wait until a negative incident happen. The other day I interviewed one woman here. She was property multimillionaire. Yeah, she became multimillionaire for the last 2 years. She's been in property. Yeah, but all her life she was working the healthcare. And then she's from US, so she got a student loan. And at some point, she has the student loan that she hasn't finished to pay. She has a $90,000 bill from the parents because they went to a doctor, there's an operation. And then she has all those expenses that they are more than how much she was making. And she's going so stressful that then she takes the decision. She says, okay, I'm going to become a property investor. And after 2 years, she already paid everything that she owns to all the debts and everything. And she's a property millionaire right now. So, but until that pain arrives, if this pain never arrives to her, that situation, this $90,000 bill, and she had this struggle paying the money, she will never become a property investor. Now the woman is amazing. She's happy. She's free. She's traveling the world. She told me she's going for a cruise now for 6 months or something. That was what she was telling me. So, and she's happy and she's helping the family now. The nieces to start their own business. It doesn't matter it's with the dog or with whatever, to help them and to encourage them to have their own business, to have their own vehicle. Um, things like that. So Ingo, tell me what is your view on this? Why life need to hit us hard and then we wake up?
Yeah, I think that's yeah. I mean, I think that's a very good question, and it strikes me also sometimes. And I thought a lot about this over since I'm coaching. I'm thinking a lot over that. I mean, basically, there are two types of clients, right? There's the one type, as you described before, that had some serious issue. Let's say it was a trauma, or they lost a family member. Like last week, I talked with a colleague. He lost his daughter when she was 15, right? Which is a
Wow.
horrible event, and you wish that to
Wow.
nobody, of course, right? But after that, also, he found his purpose. And I think life is just like that. And sometimes, or let's put it like that, I think it's much easier to change from a situation where you hit rock bottom and then you just don't have another opportunity, right? You have to do something and you have to do it now. You cannot say, okay, I wait another day. Okay, I stay miserable for another week or something like that. You have to change. There's no other way out. So you have to make this change. And this usually leads to big transformation. And that's why I think, yeah, I mean, these usually are sad events, but I think they're also our, as I mentioned before, they are our opportunity to grow, and we need to also to accept them and take them as the chance. I think what you mentioned, the much more difficult case is like I was working in this job for 15 years. I was not really
Exactly.
miserable, right? It
You were not that
was okay, it was good, but
uncomfortable.
it was also
Ingo, you were
yeah.
not that
So
uncomfortable to make this huge change that you did, to be honest.
right,
Come on, just the
and so for
meeting
me it
come in
was
Zoom. The meeting come in Zoom, okay, and then you were traveling before, but it's not like, you were in your house in Germany, very
right.
comfortable in
Mhm.
your office. So, but I still um, make you to take a drastic change with kids, dogs, even the
Right.
dog you took it to Mexico.
Yeah. I think what helps me in such a situation is just you need to just make the pain more urgent, right? And this is something I'm also working with my clients on to allow them to better change. And one way is, for example, if we do an experiment or like a mind experiment where I'm saying, okay, think about it. If your life ends, whatever, in 10, 20, 30 years, or even tomorrow, right? It doesn't matter. But if you're at the end of your life and you look back on your life and how would you rate it? I mean, is it really, did you live your life like you wanted to live it? Would you be proud on it? Did you make a contribution? And if you
A very
deeply
good
think about these
exercise.
questions and analyze these questions, then most people will figure out, oh, okay, there's maybe I should do something different. And from there, I mean, as I said, you need to make this pain big enough that it allows you to change and to jump into the unknown.
And this is exactly what you did, Ingo. Yeah.
And I think another
Somehow,
point is, and uh,
yeah, Ingo, that's
that's very
exactly what you did.
difficult.
Okay,
Sorry,
go.
go ahead.
Tell us.
No, I think another problem is that's very difficult to overcome is the so-called the sunk cost fallacy, right? Because if we lived like that for the last 20, 30, 40 years, if we would make a change today, when I made this change, you have to admit something. You have to admit that you were wrong, right? And this is something that's very difficult for
100%.
many people because
100%.
that means
Now we're
you
getting
need to
there.
admit,
We are
yeah,
getting there.
I did it wrong and I lost so many years and I could have it done it better. But still, it's better to make the change today than to do it for another 10 or 20
100%.
years. Right?
So Ingo, that was exactly what you did. You actually, after this COVID thing came and now you're sitting at home with a computer, now you're reevaluating your life and you're reevaluating everything. And somehow you arrive to a conclusion that you deserve more, that you deserve to be happy,
How I
that you deserve that your family have to be happy. You deserve that you deserve more, that you're already, very good looking, very smart, very competent. Yeah. So what's the point to live a life if you're not fulfilled, if you're quite capable to take care of your family, your children, the dog, and everything, and just um, reinvent yourself with the skills that you already have. Now that take courage. and takes also an alignment from the family as well, because I think your wife have been very supportive
Right.
with the idea, because sometimes that could be the other thing as well. That even if you want to, your wife won't let you, because especially if
That
you
can be an
have
issue. Yeah,
kids,
I was lucky
especially
because
if
my
you, if
wife
you have
was
kids,
on
huh?
the page.
Especially with kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So it becomes a sense of alignment and understanding that that life is not just to go Monday to Friday to work and have Saturday and Sunday off. It's more than that. It's about finding your purpose. For example, this job that you're doing now with
Mm,
coaching, helping other people, including this client that you have, that suffer for a traumatic loss, and losing a child at this age, right? But now you are a framework that you can work with those clients and you can help them to get their life on track and to find the purpose for the life. And because otherwise they can go very good in huge depression and they can kill themselves. They can go to alcohol. It's very easy. But it's
mm,
actually the easiest thing when something like that happen is to go on to find comfort in drugs, in alcohol, and ruin your life. Yeah, that's the easiest thing.
mhm,
The hardest thing is to find a coach like you to start to work uh, with the coach and to try to bring the life back. So sometimes, like I said, the worst day of your life can be the best day of your life as well, because at least you can find a new purpose to keep your life. Make sense?
mm.
So
Yeah,
then.
absolutely. And I think just to add this, I mean, if you're talking about the worst day in your life, I mean, feelings per se are not negative or positive, right? Even if we, sure, if we lose somebody or if we lose our job or if something severe happens in our life, it's okay to feel bad about it, right? But it's also important to continue and to let go and to jump on the yeah, to continue, learn and grow from that and get out of that even stronger.
Mhm. Yeah, and be able to yeah, to let go, because at the end of the day, life continuing. At the end of the day, we have a bigger purpose to be here. So, Ingo,
Mhm,
there are, but the most important, I think, that I see in your client, right, that he has a traumatic incident. However, he understood that he needs help. He understood that he had to
mhm,
find a coach, someone with your skill set that can help him to navigate that and to find the purpose in life, right? So, what advice do you have for people that, for entrepreneurs that they suffer an, an incident, dramatic incident, but they close on themselves and they don't want to go out to ask for help, and they enclose and enclose and enclose on themselves, and then they become more angry. Then when you go to a company, everybody's shouting, there is stress, there is craziness, and the whole company is a reflection of you, the reflection of the entrepreneur. But sometimes
mhm.
entrepreneurs, we don't admit that we are wrong, and we also don't admit that we need help. So what message do you have for those entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think that's a very important point you mentioned. And first of all, yeah, I think especially men, right, have the tendency. I used to be also like that, and I'm probably still on a growth path here. But yeah, many men don't like to talk about their feelings, right, and they also don't like to ask for help. Um, but I think it's very important, especially the more dramatic the experience was. It's important to release these feelings and to let them out and to discuss them with others because my coach used to say, and I think that's beautiful. He said, feelings buried alive never die. So if you try to bury them inside you and you just say, okay, it's not important, I will not deal with that anymore, they will just grow. They will grow like a cancer, and they will destroy you after
Absolutely.
a while. And
Literally, they will
so
destroy
I
you.
think you're getting out on this help, and this is why this coaching can be so important. Is yeah, because you're not always. I mean, we all have our reality, right? We all have our truth, and we have our understanding of how the world works. A good coach can help you. They won't tell you like how you should see it different. They will just help you to expand your perspective, because sometimes it's just helpful to look on things from a little bit different angle, right? Or from a little bit different perspective, or to expand your reality a little bit. And this can be done by going through these questions and discussing them and discussing why things happen. And yeah, I think that's why external help is really necessary there.
100%. And actually, Ingo, what you said is not metaphorical, it's actually reality. Those negative feelings that we have, if we don't find a way to surrender and to let that go, if they still are accumulated in our head or in our mind, um, these feelings exactly it grows not like a cancer, it grows and sometimes turn into cancer.
Yeah,
Because if you don't,
yeah,
that emotional pain, when it's accumulated for so many years and when it's so hard and deep, it will lead to physical pain. It literally
right.
leads to physical pain, and the way that you stress yourself, the way that you deal with this negative emotion, if you haven't let it go, then stay in your bodies, and then it literally can harm your health. Can be it will show up in a way in a way of an illness in some point in your body. So basically, your body will take a hit. So especially that's why the job you do is very important for entrepreneurs, because the entrepreneurs, when you start in the business, uh, at the beginning you start the business and you need to wear all the hats, and this is very exhausting, especially because half of the things no, 95% of the things you don't know. You just learning by doing, and then nobody knows you, so you get the first client, and the client doesn't want to pay you very little. Then your supplier want to charge you a lot of money, and you have to wait a lot for the product, and all this negative emotion start to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate in your brain. And if you don't find a way to release this negative emotion, to empty the space so you can operate, then the more this negative emotion accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate, and you don't have a coach, you don't have a mentor, you don't have no one that can help you to canalize this negative emotion. If they stay in your body, they will definitely will turn from an emotional pain to what we call a physical pain, and can end up in an illness. So, Ingo, if the people that they are listening to this podcast are loving the conversation, and they want to find out more about you, how they can find you and how the process works.
Yeah, so the first go-to would probably be my YouTube site. I also have a YouTube channel where I'm talking a lot
Ah,
about
wow, YouTuber,
exactly the
thank
topics
you. Welcome to the club.
we talked about. Thank you. Yeah, so I think that would be a good resource. It's called YouTube at the Small Reset.
I like it.
And if you want to learn more about the coaching approach, and there's also like you can book a free one-on-one discovery call. It's on my website. It's thesmallreset.org.
This work,
ORG.
this podcast will be also in my YouTube channel. So as soon as it's ready, we share it with you. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, Ingo. And for all of you following this broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable. How brave entrepreneurs like Ingo break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.